Alright, so I wanted to cover one of my favorite cheese builds in the game that's actually fairly viable. So we're going to go for a fairly standard dock opening, but we're going to anticipate early warship play from our opponent to try and shut that down. And what we're actually going to do is proxy our way through it with a lot of early game aggression. And not only that, try and re-establish dock economy and just close out the game. So here on Big Island, I've actually had this work against Ares, of all people. So believe it or not, it actually is really, really punishing unless your opponents play things perfectly. So what we're going to do is open for fairly normal eco to start with here. Even send the engineer to try and scout, kill deer, just be as useful as possible. Top of that, you can actually just place the house just out in the map, because the idea here is to go big or go home. Sheep are always nice to grab. Get this dock. Start this food eco, but mostly just focus on gathering wood this early on, because you're committing to hunting dogs, dock, and 2 fishing ships before age up. So it's not excessive by any means, but it will give you a slightly late age up here. You gotta hope your opponent is going to do something stupid, like try and shut down your water economy, and when you've already really reaped the benefit of it initially, he's had to spend a little bit more, as you know, spend just as much to get his water economy going, and then more to actually get the warships. In fact, I'm really lucky enough I can probably just put the house here at home. Not always going to be this lucky. The game versus Ares that I managed to win, I actually had a house in the middle of fucking nowhere, but it ended up being to my advantage. It was just a really efficient paving with the engineer. So we got second fishing ship. This hunt, there's no early trees around it, so I'm not actually able to do some chopping, which isn't ideal, but at the same time, it's not really a huge problem. And I mean, if I get a lot of sheep, I probably don't want to kill them too close here, just because the warship will probably shut this down. Go for an age up on 17 mil. Find a good spot to proxy, so we want to be just outside of basically the range that the AI is actually going to trigger, because against a player, that's sort of the range that they'll be comfortable also defending. So we'll go for this, but also try and shut down either a hunt or a gold mine, or both, if you can. In fact, up here is probably a good spot. So we'll go for our Castellum, and we can assume that his age up will be kicking in slightly earlier than ours, and he'll actually be yeah, he's got his dock, he's aged up, he'll be getting his warship. I'll actually delete my ships in a little bit here, but what we're going to do, go Castellum and Presidium, just because it's going to mean that he can't just make counter infantry to hold off against this, and he'll be committing to the warships. They'll be hitting very shortly, but I've already got the gold gatherers to really sustain, I mean the wood gatherers to really sustain through a lot here. So we'll go Presidium, Castellum. You can do a very similar build to this, but off the back of a second town center with Celt, which I've actually done in the game against FFNEZ, so I'll showcase that soon. Probably not too bad for me to squeeze that in there. So we'll try and squeeze in another dock here as well. Keep squeezing in the units. Try and get a second castell. Get a couple of houses first. Just going to need a lot of income. But basically, around this time, the warship would hit, so you'd probably lose these fishing boats. And in fact, I'll delete off the third just to really show just how much you can actually sort of lose here while still having an immense amount of go for it. So what I like to do here, assuming he's attacked from this side, go to the other side and put another dock down, and just restart a double fishing boat eco from that. So in the meanwhile, keep training all your units. Try and actually take a fight as quick as you can here, because the thing is, unless he's going to commit to 1 TC from here, you're going to be fighting an advantageous battle. You've already got the food bank. You don't have to really worry about running out of food here, and just focus eco. Make sure he can't get towers up, force villager pullbacks, deny a lot of gathering, and your opponent is basically fucked already. Like, it might take a couple of minutes to really show, but from here, he's pretty much fucked. You've got the wood gathering to maintain fishing ship eco, unless he notices, and let's say he's already killed this because it would have popped there, and I would have had to evacuate these guys. Go back on the berries. No big drama. Bring these guys back. And, you know, you're already doing damage. Eco's already stopped. Against a player, obviously they'd fight this out a little bit better. These guys would still be gathering. They might squeeze in a second production building by now. But truth be told, you've already given yourself the advantage on the land to basically seal the game from there. Just make sure you're min-maxing production out of your 3 production buildings. You can possibly even go up to a 4th if you need to here. Let's keep getting those gold gatherers out. Take pickaxe now if you want. Let's say he kills off this eco here again. Well, fuck it. We'll go for a dock over here in the meanwhile. He's still got to try and defend through this. We've just got to bring some of these gold gatherers back on the food. Maybe even a wood gatherer or 2. And just keep pushing from there. Like, just keep getting the villager kills. Let's say he's got range here and spearmen. I'll link the Ares game in the description. I'll really show you how to try and min-max the army value through all this. Keep things together. Oh, Decurian's getting low. Let's pull him away. Have the longswords go focus the spearmen. Have the Decurian go focus any range. And from there, like, you just shit it in. It's over. See you later. And yeah, you know, your barracks here. Restart your dock eco again. Try not to bank this much gold. Try and always be smart about the amount of villages you got in the bank. I mean, villages you got on each resource and how much you got in the bank. So you get a bit of a bank in one, you got a deficit in the other. When they're this close, just shuffle them around, man. I mean, obviously, if you've got to travel from here all the way to here, it's a bit uncomfortable, but, you know, keep everything together, focus down those towers, stop them going up, stop any villagers building, stop any villagers gathering, kill ox carts. Don't worry about storehouses. If you're up against anything other than bad, just ignore the storehouses this early on. Focus on villager kills, preventing towers, preventing critical masses of units out of the production buildings, and your opponent's dead. So guys, that's just a bit of a guide to one town center and dock proxy. Even in the wake of having, you know, warships focus your docks down or pick off your fishing boats, you'd be surprised how often you'd be able to get away with having a dock just put on a completely different side to the way that the warships came. Just make sure it's a couple of screens away from where the warships are, because you don't want to give the things up. You want to have to make your opponent have to work to actually scout it out. Keep using, if his scout's still alive at this point, because chances are if he's had to hold off against an early melee comp like this, he'll probably have to sacrifice it. Always try and squeeze in these guys. If you can as well, if the warships are attacking that dock up there, don't be afraid to queue net lures up in it. Take it at that dock while your backup dock's actually training the fishing boats. I think I actually make use of that in one of the games between either FF or Ares. So yeah guys, I'll link both videos in the description. I think you should check them out. I'm also going to actually showcase how I'd go about doing it on Celt 2 Town Center. So we'll get to that.